Well, hello. How are you doing? My name is John McEvoy.
And I'm Jacinta McEvoy.
And we've just released an album, The Boyne Mist, which is kind of a mixture, really, of old and new. There's a few new compositions. Well, quite a few new compositions, isn't there?
I think, there's 50%.
Penned by whom?
Oh, by myself. Oh, yeah.
It's with loads
myself.
Of encouragement from the important
with lots of encouragement, actually, from the family, from Jacinta and whatever, and friends as well. My sister Catherine is kind of keen on the compositions, and John Wynne and people like that. And they're saying, "Oh, you should do more. You should get a few tunes out there and see what happens." So I had this idea, actually, of this CD, which is loosely based. The Boyne Mist is a tune I composed a few years ago, and it's loosely based on actually the mythology of how the Boyne River actually developed, and maybe we can say a bit about that later on.
Sure.
Or whatever. So we're going to start with
a set of three jigs. We sort of live in a really nice area of Meath, lots of lovely nature walks, and we sort of named some of these tunes. It was sort of connected with the
area, really.
The first one is called Balrath Woods, which is a lovely local nature walk in the area. It's really nice. It used to belong to a big family, the Somerville family, I think, but now it's open to the public. The second one is called Norna Bortok, which is the Irish for heron. Again, another area where we walk along the Boyne. There's a heron there, which, actually we read about it first and we thought, we've never seen that heron. And then, like, within the week of actually naming the tune, we saw it. So we thought, this is fortuitous.
It had to happen,
A heavenly heron.
That's it.
And then the third one is called The Highwayman. And it's based on a
famous highwayman in Meath, Michael Collier, wasn't it? And reputedly he was arrested and put in Trim jail, and he escaped and jumped into the Boyne and swam all the way to Navan and escaped. And then he used to hold up, the stagecoaches and things and whatever. And he was a bit of a Robin Hood character, I think.
Oh, stole from the rich and gave to the poor.
Sort of.
Right.
I wonder. Well, anyway, cut a long story short, he got rearrested again and whatever, and he was sent to Australia. And he did a deal with the British and became a kind of a spy, I think, or something, and returned. And eventually he was shot at a race meeting in Meath.
Okay.
Whatever. So there's a big story about him. There's a whole load of stuff about him. And very, very interesting. So I was intrigued by this. Anyway, will we play?
We better play.
Yeah, I prefer the heavenly heron.
Yeah.
Fantastic. My God. Silken, seamless, and in total unison.
Do you think so?
I think so.
most of the
Okay, the
time.
minute I
Most of
heard.
the time, yeah.
What do you think yourselves?
Thanks a million.
Okay.
I should mention as well, actually, the CD is interesting because we've accompaniment from our son Paddy is on the piano, and our nephew actually Rory McGorman, who actually plays the Greek bouzouki, like Alec Finn, whatever, and that. So they did some really nice stuff on that as well. It was great help.
Okay. Now, one of the most important questions, not even the music, was your love affair happened across a ballroom of a cultus event. I heard. Tell me more about that. And it embraced not only you but your family.
Yeah.
Right,
Actually,
tell us about it.
No. Well, what actually happened was years and years ago, there used to be a festival in Gormanston, ironically in County Meath, where we now live after a long round-the-world trip. But anyway, Anton McGowan, Tony Smith, the fiddle player, he was, mad for playing outside, you see.
Sure.
So he said, listen, we're having a tune, and Mick O'Connor, the banjo player from London, and a few others and whatever. And he says, listen, we're having a bit of a tune. And I says, oh, I don't have the fiddle. He says, go and get the fiddle. So I went back inside to get the fiddle, and in the meantime, good old Irish weather, it started to pour rain. And I kind of went outside, and it was raining, no sign of the gang or whatever and that. And then I was walking back up the corridor, and I could hear this voice saying, are you John McEvoy? And you could take over then.
And we then asked John. Yeah, I was sort of involved in another session, and they had said, try and get, John McEvoy's playing out there and Tony Smith, or whatever. But I just managed to get John. And I said, look, we want you to join our session, So more or less that was it. We had the session together, and then got chatting the rest of the night. And we sort of found that I was actually in college at the time. I was studying music, so I enjoyed classical music, as does John. And we thought, oh my God, here's somebody who really loves traditional music and classical music.
Sure.
And that was it. And then I was about to go to college, and I was saying, oh, what are you doing? And, and then we just, that was it. Just got talking then.
But at the same weekend, you see, I'd gone with my brother Tom, and John had gone with his sister Catherine.
That's right,
And during that weekend, both of them played the flute. Tom went to a workshop of Catherine's. I think she was, or was she giving it? Or was she?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And they got chatting, so we sort of worked
So a double love blossom over one weekend in Meath.
Brother sister married brother sister. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how it worked.
Lovely.
Very handy altogether.
But it actually happened in the previous generation on the McGorman side, where two brothers married two sisters.
I see.
So my dad and his brother married
Right.
my mum.
Okay.
Her sister.
Not on the same day like Paddy Kenny and P. Joe Hayes.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, that's great.
So
Your album, The Boy Mist, okay.
Yeah.
I love the idea that you've attached your music to the mythology of the area that you've set yourselves down in for the last however amount of years.
It's funny. I read a book at school years ago. There was a book called, was it a fella called Charles Squire or something, or Celtic mythology, romance and poetry.
Right.
Isn't that good now?
My God.
It was a really big, thick book, and it started with Ireland, and then Wales, and then England, or Breton as it was. It was all Celtic stuff. And I just loved it. It was all about the Dagda and the Firbolg and the Dedannan and I loved all this stuff. And, I've always had that kind of an interest. And then, of course, living in Meath, we'd go walking and stuff, and just we'd go up to Tara. We go up there to the hill of Tara a lot.
We're just 12 minutes away in the car. It's
my God.
Close,
yeah, and we're kind of blessed, really. And then I started thinking, I wonder, is there, and then I was reading stuff about the mythology of Meath and all the various stuff that went on Tara and various places, and St. Patrick coming and going. Anyway, to cut a long story short, then I said, do you know something? It'd be lovely to have tunes that would celebrate the mythology and also celebrate the landscape and the area. So that's how it was born, yeah.
And the main character in this is Bowen, is it? And
Bowen
she ended up very gruesomely, didn't she?
She did. She was some woman, because reputedly she was married to 5 different kings of Tara. at some stage, yeah,
Oh,
whatever. Anyway, to cut a long story short, she was married to the dteannta, who was a bigwig anyway, and he was showing her around the land after, and she says, "What's that over there?" There's a beautiful tree and a well, and it was a hazelnut tree, and he said, "Oh, you can't go there. Don't go there." And she says, "No, why?" And he says, "That's a well, and I am the guardian of the well, and nobody can go near the well, and you certainly do not look in the well."
So,
Right?
acknowledge the well,
And the well had this tree, beautiful tree with hazelnuts, and the hazelnuts dropped into the well,
Yes.
and there was fish at the bottom of the well, salmon, right? And
Right.
they ate the hazelnuts, and they could foresee, they knew all about the past, and they could foresee the future as well.
Sure.
There was, they were full of knowledge, you see.
Yes.
And she obviously got to learn to this, and she just couldn't, she couldn't stop herself.
Like that brat Eve, Adam and
Well,
Eve.
do you know something? Aren't there great resonances?
Isn't there?
It's like an Adam and Eve story.
Yes.
Yeah? So anyway, she went to the well one day and she looked into the well, and as soon as she looked in the well, she saw her own vision and got a flash of what would happen in the future. And the well basically blew up. It blazed, and it split her body into all different parts and whatever, and became the River Boyne.
I see.
And many years later, Finn McCool was at the banks of the Boyne, and as you know,
Finnegas is
yeah,
yes.
and the old salmon, and he burnt his finger, and salmon of knowledge and whatever and that. So
Right.
there's all kind of links there and whatever. But poor old Bowen, yeah, and it's actually funny because we were we were showing people the cover of the CD, and when you open it up, it's got all these body parts on it. And the brother-in-law Kevin was saying, "What in the name of, what are you at?" Like,
It needs a bit of explanation.
it does need a bit of explanation.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's lovely. It's lovely. Listen, will you play another set for us?
What can we do?
We're going to do Oni Davies.
Oh
maybe?
yeah. We'll do Oni Davies
Yeah,
and
on the CD too, we mix the old stuff with some of John's compositions.
Lovely.
yeah,
The first
yeah.
one is Oni Davies, and the next two are your compositions.
Yeah, the second one
Hill of
is
Slane.
the Hill of Slane.
Lovely.
Reputedly St. Patrick put a fire there and whatever, and you can read about that. And then the last one is
A Year and a Day.
A Year and a Day. There was a thing in Meath, apparently in ancient times, where was it Lunas
Lunas,
or
yeah.
something? They had a big festival, and there was a kind of a big kind of wall or a fence or whatever, and the young men would walk down one side and the young women would walk down the other, and there was a hole in the wall. And if you put your hand in, whoever you touched, you were kind of betrothed to
I
her
see.
And
for
then seeing them.
You were-
for a year and a day.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, do you get the idea? So if it worked out, you stick together. And if you didn't, in the year and the day, if it didn't happen, you were allowed after a year and a day
Oh, to get a divorce.
get a divorce.
Well before it ever came to Ireland. Okay.
But apparently that was part
Yeah.
of Brehon law years ago. Like, yeah, and if your wife couldn't cook or whatever or that, you had and vice versa.
Sure.
She actually was very female dominated because
Yeah.
in those days the line of inheritance came through the female line.
That's it.
Very
Okay.
interesting.
My
Anyway,
God.
enough
Okay,
talk.
so music from the two musical druids. Okay, so
You have it in
work
one,
away
sir.
with you. Listen, thank you very much, first of all, for sharing your music over the last 20 minutes. Also for sharing your mythological stories of the area, and especially for sharing your intimate stories. Okay. Listen, good luck with your album into the future, with hopefully lots of launches and loads of success.
Thank you very much,
Thanks
John.
very
Thanks
much,
a
John. That's
million.
great.
Thank you.
That was
Enjoyed it.
lovely.